I have Senate Bill 591, which started out as a one-page bill, and now I think it's 59 pages, but I can summarize it very quickly for you because I know y'all have had a long day, and I don't think we will need 12 minutes on either side. I became concerned, and Senator Stanley and I actually had a bill that was looking at gummies that contain high doses of the hemp in the technical, the THC and the THC acid, and they are sometimes in shapes with sugary coatings, different shapes that children have ingested. I think it's candy, it looks like candy. And so he had a bill along that line, and I wanted to do that, but I also wanted to go a little further and look at some of the Delta 8 products that are showing up in the marketplace. So the bill as it's there, and the reason why it became a longer bill is because you had to address all of the sections that pertain to this. I don't want to complicate it and inject it into the debate you are going to have about the legalization of marijuana and all that's going to be set up there. What I'm trying to do from a safety precaution in access to these products to the general public that may confuse them with something that's just good to eat, that we would basically not allow these gummies that are in the shape of animals and different things like that, humans and toys and what have you, and coated with sugar that children could ingest accidentally and have in Virginia and gotten very sick and high. In other states, there have actually been deaths. So I think that's something we want to do. So that's the first thing. The other area is dealing with the what is referred to as the Delta 8 products. We had a problem years ago with what was called bath salts. We put something in the code to deal with that, and then they figured out ways to make it to get around that with different definitions. So what we ended up going in the bill that has in front of you, which has a whole lot of pages, but it all comes down, and counsel can help you with that because he struggled not only with the large bill that consumed a couple trees for Senator Eben, but 59 pages for me. It just has certain sections that repeat the same things over and over again as you go through. But what it comes down to is that we're going to have precise recognition of amounts that you cannot have. So what we're going to say is that you can't have a product for general sale that exceeds 0.3% per 0.25 milligrams of THC or THC acid, and that it's further limited by the amount of the packaging, the total packaging that you'll see in the enactment clause. If y'all have technical questions, I'm not an expert on this. I just wanted to accomplish those two things. I've seen, and you have probably seen, stores advertising this along the way. There are lots of issues with it. You can go online and you can order cereal that looks like other cereals that will get you high eating a bowl of cereal. And those are a problem. Madam Chair, that's what the bill is about.
Thank you, Senator Hanger. I see any questions from the committee. I see Delegate Adams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Speaking to the bill when it's appropriate.
Do we have any questions? All right, go ahead, Delegate Adams.
Thank you. Senator Hanger, I just want to say how much I appreciate you putting in this bill. This was the problem with Delta 8 specifically is a problem I brought up last session after one of my patients got accidentally high. I think that's very well crafted. It covers all of the important pieces. I think this is good for Virginia. I wouldn't change it. It's a great bill, and I appreciate it so much, and so do my patients.
Thank you. We did go through 3 different committees, several hours of testimony, and a lot of David's time in crafting it this way. So I owe a lot to him from the technical aspect.
Thank you, Senator Hanger. We're going to go ahead and take support, then opposition. And I'm going to remind everyone, brevity is an art form, and please keep it that way. Those in support.
Madam Chair, members, Tom Antorcia with the Virginia Catholic Conference. We support this bill because it addresses a problem that is currently plaguing the Commonwealth. As you may be aware, I'm sure many of you are aware, in places like Charlottesville and in Richmond, the poison control calls are doubling. And that is largely attributable to Delta 8 in the form of edibles. And as the patron pointed out, those products are often labeled with very attractive marketing and merchandising techniques that are quite frankly targeting children. So some of the products, as the Senator alluded to, are marketed like children's cereal, like Rice Krispies, Trix, Cap and Crunch. And so this bill is a positive step to make some mitigation of the damage that's being done right now. And we thank him for bringing this important proposal forward. Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman, members of the subcommittee, Todd Gackey on behalf of the Family Foundation. We believe this is a timely bill. We support it, and thank you. We appreciate it.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Josh Humphreys with the Attorney General's Office. We support the bill.
Anyone in opposition to the bill?
Madam Chair, Dylan Bishop on behalf of the Cannabis Business Association of Virginia. Not necessarily opposed to the bill. We wholeheartedly endorse the bill as introduced and what the Senator is trying to accomplish. We certainly don't want shapes or products marketed appealing to children. Our issue is with meddling with the definition of marijuana. If we're really trying to target these synthetic cannabinoids, we'd suggest amending the definition of industrial hemp to exclude cannabinoids that don't naturally occur in the plant. So we'll leave you with that, and thank you for your time.
My name is Joseph Domino with Gourmet Hemp Foods. We particularly deal with hemp seed oil. I would like to see in the bill the 3 GRAS notices for hemp seed oil, protein, and shelled seeds. It's not recognized in there. So with a commission with a broad wand, I just want to make sure we have security. I do have 1-page statement, and I'll run through it pretty fast. Before I do, I want to recognize Mr. Wright and Senator Ruff for being on the forefront of this industry. They both attended the first Virginia State Hemp Field Day, so thank you so much for your long-term support. Here's what's at stake if the cannabidiol hemp market is abolished. The economic security of thousands of Virginians will be wrung out like a rag, who've been deployed their hard-earned dollars to revitalize small farms and rejuvenated failing strip malls. What's also at stake is the loss of American values. To quote Thomas Jefferson, agriculture is our wisest pursuit because it will, in the end, contribute most to wealth, good morals, and happiness. This crop and its profitable potential for small farmers has brought individuals and families back to the land. It will be unwise to prohibit citizens from pursuing an agricultural endeavor such as this. A yes vote for this bill is a vote against wealth, good morals, and happiness. At a minimum, this bill should protect CBD establishments, those Virginia citizens who grow, process, test, and retail all within the state of Virginia. This would boost agritourism and ensure closed-loop production, making it easier to regulate quality CBD products. American citizens simply want to retain their rights to say what they want, to wear what they want, and to grow, sell, consume what they want. The experts within the CBD industry are the activists and entrepreneurs who've given years of their lives to establish their businesses and customer bases. The experts are not this committee, are not normal and the scheming pharma lobbyists, and are not ill-conceived spin-offs of the Board of Pharmacy. A no vote for this bill is a yes vote for American freedom and the preservation of every citizen's constitutional rights and inalienable rights to life, liberty, and property. Thank you.
My name is Graham Redfern. I run and operate Redfern Hemp Company. We're out of Caroline County. And I look at this bill and I'm looking at the definition of marijuana and the redefinition of industrial hemp. We sell a federally legal product under federal laws and also Virginia current laws. But with this bill, I've got 10 employees that are going to be scared for their jobs because the definition of hemp at 1 milligram per package. So we sell to fathers, grandmothers. Y'all probably know a lot of people who use CBD. Our CBD products under this bill and the definition that is going to be redefined will be gone. This will be an illegal product to sell. It is not intoxicating. It has a very minute amount of THC. So I really think that we need to look at how we're redefining hemp here and not pulling in the big market where you've got thousands of farmers, small businesses trying to make it on the non-intoxicating side, and then dragging in this with new marijuana laws. And I really do think that it's not the time to make Virginia more of a restrictive state than federal law, and this is what they would do. This currently has more than 1 milligram of THC in the product. But if that is the way we're going to define marijuana now, then we really need, honestly, you're going to make us a criminal. You're going to make a lot of people criminals with this definition. So I think that if it's the intoxicating, semi-synthetic cannabinoids that y'all are looking at, please don't pull in the industrial hemp side with it. And I really hope that y'all revisit the fact of this being defined as marijuana. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Scott McStacey. I'm a hemp farmer here in Virginia. I also own a business that sells hemp extracts and different things. I am not against this bill in principle, and I'm not against the idea of separating intoxicating cannabinoids from non-intoxicating cannabinoids. Now, what that means, if you don't understand, which I think a lot of people really don't, because this is relatively new stuff, we're all learning. And I know you guys are all learning at a very fast pace. And you have to, because this is very important to get this right. This is a free market. This is a free market economy. Hemp, as defined under federal law under the 2018 Farm Bill, is anything that is made from a source material that is less than 0.3% total THC by dry weight volume. In other words, if it's made from hemp, it's legal federally. Now, there are two major different areas of cannabinoids. There are, as we know, the intoxicating cannabinoids like Delta-9 THC, which is what the legalization is about regular Delta-9, which is in marijuana. Delta-8, which is a form of THC. It's a cousin, it's an isomer. It's not technically synthetic, but it is different. And it is intoxicating to a degree. There are other ones. There are other intoxicating cannabinoids. But there are also a ton of non-intoxicating cannabinoids which are federally legal that are perfectly fine. They're basically nutritional additives. And that's actually the way the FDA is so eventually will come down on that. But, the non-intoxicating cannabinoids are not anything to fear. First of all, they help people. CBG is a great example. I take it, and I have a couple of different issues that I use cannabinoids for. It really helps a lot with anxiety and different things. And I just feel like we need to understand, before we make these decisions, we really need to understand that there's a big difference between the two. There's a big difference. And I think we just need to keep that in mind.
Mr. McStacey, I believe Delegate Adams has a question for you directly.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. And I guess I would just preface, I don't even know if it's a question. I would consider myself somewhat a subject matter expert in this. So I think what has been said so far by the various people are misunderstanding the bill and the contents of the bill. This bill does not prevent hemp farmers from growing consumable hemp. It does not fly in the face of federal law. In fact, it reiterates federal law. Federal law goes on dry weight. And so dry weight is a particularly unusual measurement given that what we're making are consumable products. So ultimately, although you might have a dry weight here, by the time you get to consumable products, it completely changes the infrastructure chemically. So a couple of things. One, you should know, as all people should know, that any form of a ingestible hemp product, whether you call it CBD or a CBG or CBN, any of these products, they are psychogenic, which is why they were regulated initially in the medical CBD program. Psychogenic meaning it has an effect on the brain. It is not intoxicating at particular levels, but it is psychogenic. So that is important to understand. It does have an effect. There is a need for some regulation. The federal farm bill allows for products to be made into CBD that are not intoxicating per se, although when you get to a full spectrum CBD, that is intoxicating for some people depending on the variation. And because it's so wildly unregulated, some people are getting very intoxicated from some of the CBD products. So it does not eliminate any crops that you're growing for this production of ingestible hemp. But there are a lot of variations that I think are being left out in the conversation. And I'm just asking you, do you think that anything that I'm saying to you about the federal hemp law is inaccurate?
No, I don't. But I do think that, we have to keep in mind that, these cannabis in general has been with us for 12,000 years on this planet. It was a native species 12,000 years ago, and humans started to cultivate it. Mm-hmm. And for 12,000 years, we've used it for food, fiber, and medicine.
Yep.
And I don't think just because the last 84 years they made it illegal doesn't change the fact that it has been what it has been and what it will be. And I think we just need to make sure that this isn't a power grab to take away from the hemp farmers and from the hemp product sellers and give it to the people that you guys want to pick as winners. We can't do that. We have to have this we need as many Virginians involved in this industry as possible.
Madam Chair.
That's mine. So thank you.
Delegate Adams.
So I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Okay, in all contents, medical cannabis is very, very important.
Sure.
In particular, of course, adult use is another thing we're talking about.
Right.
But I think what's not happening here is an attempt to do a power grab of any kind. What is happening here is to put guardrails around some products that some are synthetic and some are not. Delta 8, as it is sold, we had one person say, we want what's naturally grown in the plant. The amount of Delta 8 in a natural plant is so minuscule. You have to use very toxic solvents, right? So it's very different, and so we're trying to regulate that.
Delegate Adams, if you could pause for 1 moment.
Sure.
When we're doing committee, go through the chair as you speak to the delegate. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I think, what I want to just clarify is that I think there's a misperception. What we're trying to do is create safety guardrails in an industry, as you said, that's been wildly new and unregulated, and to create product consistency, not to eliminate product, to create product consistency. So I just want to assure you that I think all of us up here want to do what's right for Virginians and right for farmers, right for business, but really have some strong guardrails, because it has been a problem that there's a proliferation of primarily out-of-state Delta 8 products, right? The CBD market's kind of flat, but that's not because of regulation. We haven't had any regulation. That's because there's an influx, and it's just sort of taken off since last April in particular. So I appreciate your comments. I agree with a lot of your comments, but I also disagree with some of your comments around intention. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for your testimony. With that, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to report.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Please prepare to vote. That bill reports out by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Hager. Next up, we're going to have Senator Evan. If you give us just one quick moment.
Madam Chair, if I may.